In today's exploration of cybersecurity tech news, yet another leak coming from Anonymous. This time we have over 800 gigabytes of files, emails, databases and so on stolen from the Roskomnadzor. Now the Roskomnadzor might sound like some kind of a Star Wars villain, but it's actually a Russian government agency, which has been thrown into the spotlight ever since the invasion of Ukraine. But what is the Roskomnadzor? What do they do? Well, we'll get to that, but FYI, I'm doing a giveaway for recently passing 300,000 subscribers, which in of itself is just madness. But for more on that, make sure to stick around right till the end of the video. Anyhow, the Roskomnadzor. So the official Russian government website describes it as the Federal Service for Supervision of Communications, Information Technology and Mass Media. This is a fancy way of describing what is effectively Russia's state censor, their Ministry of Truth. These guys are tasked with patrolling both traditional media and social media for wrongthink, express a viewpoint that Putin doesn't like, and these guys will be on your case. For example, they recently ordered Russian media to delete stories referring to what's going on in Ukraine as an assault, invasion or declaration of war. They're also responsible for, in the last few days, blocking Facebook and Twitter. And don't get me wrong, I'm not particularly fond of Twitter or Facebook, but that's largely irrelevant. The whole point is that the Roskomnadzor is an enemy of freedom of speech and freedom of the press, and so it's no wonder that they've become a juicy target for hacktivists. Now the 800 gigabyte dump appeared on DDoS, that's Distributed Denial of Secrets, a couple of days ago. This website is like a repository for various data leaks. If you had exfiltrated a few Russian government databases and wanted to get that data out to the world, these are the guys you'd contact. You know they're the real deal because they even have a fancy Latin motto. And now added to their vast array of over 200 leaks is that of the Roskomnadzor. As for the leak itself, it's said to specifically relate to the Roskomnadzor in Bashkortostan, a region within Russia. Now, whenever there's a leak like this, people will of course question its authenticity, so I meandered through this dump myself and stumbled across an interesting little folder containing pictures from all Roskomnadzor office parties going back a good few years. One of which took place the very day before the invasion of Ukraine itself on February 23rd. Doesn't look like much of a party, but in one of the photos you can clearly see the flag of the Roskomnadzor, as well as the Russian flag, and the flag of Bashkortostan, the region of Russia that this photo is apparently from. I'm censoring the photos by the way because I just don't want any hassle from YouTube if someone in the pictures isn't too happy and decides to make a fuss. And also in this leak are little comedy video skits made by Roskomnadzor employees. If the context of them was different, I might even call them wholesome. But I'm not playing them here as they're full of copyrighted music and people jumping around, so it's kind of hard to blur out the faces. But I've got some clips of them over on my Instagram story if you're curious. But anyway, the leak does look legit and fairly recent. This isn't just some old backup that's been pwned. But is there anything of importance in this leak? Well, sadly I can't read Russian, so I'm relying on others to figure that one out. As it stands, there's no smoking gun, as in we haven't learnt of any top secret operation from this dump. However, it is a big leak. The 800 gigabytes equates to roughly 400,000 files, mostly PDFs and emails, so it'll take a good while for people to make their way through it. But it could well be the case that the leak is largely inconsequential, as in we already know about the insane censorship laws that Russians are subject to. The dump might largely just be reiterating what we already know, along with random photos from office parties sprinkled in. As for the source of this data dump, all we know is that it came from Anonymous. Now, I realise whenever I mention Anonymous here on this channel, there's always a bunch of people in the comments asserting that Anonymous is just a front for the CIA. Generally, I disregard these people because the anonymous hack in question is usually just some low-level website defacement, which I doubt the NSA or whoever it is has time for. However, in this case, those people may have more of a point. You see, this leak wasn't announced with some flashy press release, or by a hacktivist group trying to gain some traction by announcing it on Twitter. The dump was silently handed to DDoS for them to distribute. Now, if I was the NSA or some other three-letter organization and wanted to disseminate some hacked data quickly without putting any spotlight on the source, this is how I'd do it. But of course, it could just be the work of a hacktivist who would rather stay in the shadows. DDoS's press release says they're publishing this dump in anticipation of Russia potentially being cut off from the global internet on March 11th. Now, there's some misinformation going around about this that I feel we need to clear up real quick. You may have seen some articles saying Russia are to be disconnected from the global internet from Friday. If you needed another reason not to get your tech news from the Metro, this is it, because Friday has come and gone, and Russia's internet is still working. It turns out that this whole story was based off a mistranslation of a Russian government memo. In reality, Russia is just telling its state organizations to move their hosting to within Russia. Not a big deal, and no reason for panic. If you're curious as to why Russia disconnecting themselves from the internet would be such a catastrophe, see my previous video. Now, this video was made possible by Linode, who are giving you a $100 60-day credit just for signing up. Linode is essentially your Swiss Army knife for cloud computing. If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. One great feature of Linode is their app marketplace, which makes it super easy to spin up servers with pre-configured software. For example, use Linode's Pi-hole app to set up a DNS sinkhole that you can use to block ads across all your devices. And yeah, I do recognise the irony in promoting ad blocking within an actual ad. Linode can run almost anything by providing all the tools a developer really needs at competitive prices. Use the link in the description now to claim your free $100. Now, thanks to you guys, I recently passed 300,000 subscribers, which is insanity. And so I think it's only fair that we do a giveaway. We're giving away one of every product that my company Maltronic sells. So that's our bad USB, the Malduino, our wireless bad USB, the Malduino W, and a deauthor. Now, we're out of stock of deauth detectors, so those aren't included, but I will throw in a bunch of Maltronic stickers to make up for it. But anyway, there are two ways to enter. Firstly, comment on this video, and secondly, follow me on Instagram and comment on my latest post. Link for that is in the description. You don't have to enter both, but of course if you do, you double your chances, as there will be two winners, one from the YouTube comments and one from the Instagram comments. 48 hours after this video goes live, I'll use random comment pickers and post the results to our Instagram story. The giveaway is of course worldwide. Anyhow, good luck and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.